Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast with The Whole Truth. Today's podcast is going to be about Katherine Nicole Hammond and the whole situation she's found herself in with her ex-baby daddy. I don't know if they were married or not, so I'm just going to say baby daddy, okay? Before I start, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has sent me messages over the last few weeks. Obviously, a lot of you know I had surgery, and those messages they meant a lot to me because where I had to travel for my surgery, they had COVID restrictions. So I didn't have my family or anything with me. So you guys kind of kept my spirits up while I was in the hospital. And I did get really far behind. So I appreciate everybody's patience while I did catch up with that. And now I'm back in the swing of things. So like I said, I apologize that I didn't get another podcast. There have been so many podcasts that I've wanted to do because things are happening and I'm I want to talk about it. But I've just been so tired. So today is the day I'm going to get started. So anyway, back to the podcast. So this is about Katherine Nicole Hammond, okay? So a little bit of a backstory. She was involved in the whole trio that did that sex confessions Saturday and leaked everyone's nudes. So if you don't know, I'm sure you know by now, but if you're new here, basically on Saturdays they used to do a sex confession Saturdays amongst the Insta mums, and it was like a follow train. So basically, Sierra, and this is how I actually got onto the whole topic of Sierra and stuff, because they would post and be go and follow Sierra for the next confession, and then it would be go and follow Crystal for the next confession, and it's like a follow train. And I remember seeing under one of the comments, and it was Sierra has me blocked. Everyone was Sierra has me blocked. Sierra has me blocked, because Sierra has to block everybody because she just did not like hearing any opinion other than her own. Not much has changed. But anyway, during this sex confession Saturday, the girls, some reason, all these Insta mums started sending nudes to each other in the group chat. And Ember, Michelle, and Katherine and Courtney decided that it would be a great idea to post their friends' nudes all over social media. So Ember was actually the one that posted it, but the other two were involved in it. So that's where people sort of first knew Katherine from. But Katherine has a bit of a backstory. So a couple of years ago, she actually was a part of the TWT page because she wanted to share her story on what happened with her ex. So her and her ex had broken up. She said that she was in a really bad domestic violence situation. His name's Brendan. I keep calling him Brandon, but his name's Brendan. So if I say Brandon, that's what I'm talking about. But they broke up, and she put all these allegations out about him, said that, he had beaten her, he used to cheat on her all the time. He threw appliances at her. I think it was a printer. He threw a printer at her, held a gun to her head, physically abused her and stuff. And people were a lot of people weren't sure whether to believe. You know what it's like. No matter what anyone says, there's always going to be believers and non-believers. And there was a couple of non-believers. I'd say they put subs in, and then she joined the page and was I want to put my story out there. So she then sent in all of the police reports showing that she had an AVO at him and stuff like that. Now, somewhere along the line, she met this guy named Brian, okay? And I'm not sure if they met, after, or I'm pretty sure he lives in a totally different state than her. But she, moved with her kids in a state to him. So I think maybe her mother had the kids to start with. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because that could be wrong. But then she moved with him and then moved all the children up there as well. And so Brian basically just took them in. So they all moved into his house. He took them in. He was she would post all these things about Brian, being he saved me and all this, that, and whatever, all right? And then after 2 years of being together, she tells Brian that she misses her family back in Texas. I don't know. Misses her family back wherever they're from, and that she wants to move to be closer to them. So he was okay, no worries. They were going to do this long distance thing. So he had no idea, totally blindsided. She wanted to do this long distance thing, and so he helps her move all her things, helps her get an apartment, and moves all her things down to this place. And then the night he flies home, her ex, Brendan, who held a gun to her head and supposedly abused her, stays the night with her. And she cheats on Brian with her ex, okay? The guy that abused her, she cheats on him. So I have a couple of pictures. So basically, everyone thought, she had this apartment, was working, whatever was going to happen, but she actually moved in. She left the apartment. I don't know how you do that. Like, how do you just up and leave an apartment? Don't you sign leases and stuff? I don't know. But anyway, she ends up leaving this apartment, and she moves in with Brendan and his family. Okay. So then she posts these things. And Brian has no idea. He has absolutely no idea until obviously she starts. Well, I'm guessing that he told her beforehand. But she puts up this post, and it's her and her ex Brendan, and it says, and it's them hugging and she's smiling, and it's like, we never wanted a fairy tale, we wanted something real. Now, the biggest problem I think everyone has is the fact that I understand, like, you have a domestic abuse relationship. Sometimes it's really hard to leave, and you do go back. Like, you might leave for 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever. But 2 years, do you really leave someone for 2 years and then you get back with them after they've done all that to you? It's a really hard one to understand. I don't know, maybe it's different if you have kids, but in my mind, I would never go back to that. But Brian, one of the girls that is on our page, she actually commented under this picture. I'm sorry if it takes a little bit to load because my computer's being a butt. But this girl writes, I don't want to say any names out loud because obviously they're also involved in the situation. But this girl writes, this dude literally tried to kill you, but sure, sis, at least you're comfortable again. As someone who escaped that shit and ran far away as I could with my kid, you couldn't pay me to go back. You were out. He tried to kill you, used a gun to scare you, beat you black and blue, and you're going to let your sons see him as their role model. Girl, get the fuck out before it's too late and he finishes what he started. You can do so much better, okay? Now, what happened was, this message was actually seen, so she wrote on her page, and this message was actually seen by the ex, Brendan. Sorry, Brian, not Brendan. Let me just find the screenshots. I'm like shocking at screenshots. I don't know if I can find it, but basically she said to him, like, I guess that because he requested her, and she said, I guess that you've seen my message, and he said, yeah, like, thanks for saying that and whatever. Now, these are some of the voicemails that she sent him, and like, I don't want to say her name because I don't even know what to say because I don't want to like drop anyone in hot water or anything, but these guys like developed a really strong friendship through all of this. And if you're friends with her, like, she's one of my favorite people on Instagram, like, I absolutely love her. And if you're friends with her, like, a lot of her close friends would know this story, but you'll understand it maybe in a couple of months' time. I don't know. But anyway, he shared these voicemails with her, and he was like, I'm happy for you to share them with the sub pages. I think he was just like at a loss. Like, he couldn't understand how she could go back to him, how he was so blindsided. Like, he's this nice guy, he's helped her do all these things. Like, he took her in, took her kids in and everything. So this is the first voicemail. So bear with me while I load it. My computer is like super slow today. I don't know what its problem is.
You have my approval to message a sub page. I don't even know what that is. I'm not as big into social media as she was. I know she follows these little, like you said, sub pages or whatever they're called, mom pages and things like that. But yes, you have my 100% support to and approval to message those pages and get whoever you can to message those pages and message her and bomb her with the truth and the reality of the situation and tell her exactly what you just told me. That is so strong, what you just told me. It is so wise, and I know it comes from experience, and it's a bad experience, but you have to share that.
Oh, I feel so awful for him. Like, honestly, he's like, in a panic state right now. And I suppose like he'd be in shock of everything that's going on, but he's in like a panic state. And I think he's like so concerned for her well-being, which, fair enough. Like, if you've just rescued someone from a situation and you've been with them for 2 years and they run back to that situation. But like, I can't handle when I listen to like a grown man cry, it kills me inside. But this is the next voicemail.
Like, from her friend Ryan and any other followers that are saying, oh yes, you go girl, go boo, do your thing, you're glowing up, you're doing all this shit like that. those people are fake as fuck, and they don't give a fuck about her, because if they did, they would be sending the comments like you did and telling her that she is fucking making a terrible mistake.
This is so true. Like, how many times do we see this on, like, Juliana's feed? Oh, my God, help us. Like, you know, it's always people like, oh, my God, you go. Like, you guys are the best, like, with her and Brett. And they know that, like, Brett just had her put in jail, like, a few weeks ago. What sort of a friend sits back, you know, and you can see, like, Julia, she's getting, like, frustrated with it because, you know, there's only so much you can do before you just lose your mind. But, like, this is what these followers are like, you know what I mean? They're just, like, want to be, like, these supportive women and be like, oh, no, that's fantastic, like, goals. And you're not being supportive. You're helping someone be in a dangerous situation. Like, it's all good to, like, you know, always support your friend, but you also need to be like, this is a bad situation. I feel like you shouldn't do, I'll support you no matter what. I'll be here no matter what happens, but I feel like you're making a mistake. That's what friends do. Friends don't just sit back and watch this shit unravel and be okay with it. But this is what these followers are like. They're all just, and a lot of them, I guess, are from, like, dead shit relationships. So this is normal for them. It's normal to, like, choke your boyfriend out or for him to punch you in the face or throw a printer at you or hold a gun to your head, because they're in these trashy relationships and they've never learnt that that's toxic. You need to get the fuck out. So, I mean, what do you really expect from these sort of people?
And she knows better, and I wish more people were commenting and posting and sending her things like you did, which I'm sure they are, and all she is doing is reposting the quote-unquote support, which is fake support, but she's holding on to that and ignoring the actual support, which is in reality disapproval, but it's support for her because those are the people that really actually fucking care about her. And
so obviously, like, her family and stuff aren't very impressed with the whole situation either. Like, obviously. Like, I can't believe this. It's just wild.
So I don't know if it's right for me to ask you to basically, like, bomb her posts and messages with everything you're saying, like the realness that she's preached about going back and getting in that same cycle of abuse, and that it's all okay now, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get back to the same stuff as it always was. And you are so right. Her mom told me today, you know, she's going to get pregnant soon. And my heart just fucking dropped out of my fucking chest. And I'm like, oh my God, you are right. That's all that's happened in the past. They got in an argument. They had Mary. They got in an argument and the assault when he almost killed her. They broke up, and then she fucking went back and had Matthew. And now it's, if she has another one, I can't even imagine.
So, yeah. I didn't actually know that about the argument having a baby and whatever, but that's obviously what she's told him. So I'm guessing it's all true. But I'm just going to skip to the next voice message. Hold on one second.
We were under the understanding that we were going to keep it long distance, stay together, and that she was moving down there because she really missed her family, her mom, her sister, and wanted her kids to be with their grandma and aunt and cousins and all that, which I totally got, which was fine. And even, you know, she wanted her kids to have the dad's family too, and he's kind of been showing up and acting like he had his shit together, whatever. That was fine. But that was the understanding, that we were going to go down there, do long distance, and stay together, make it work, and I was going to come down there in a few years and move down there.
So it goes to show how, and like I can tell you now, like Katherine is like one of the fakest people ever. She used to follow the TWT page and she'd be sending out screenshots left, right and centre, but like subbing about people and then sending them screenshots to be like, oh my God, look what they're saying about you. She is fake as fuck. So I am so glad that Brian has now moved on with someone who is awesome, because like I feel like this shows, like, you know, you listen to him and he's like super upset at this point because it's all like raw. And this is why I didn't want to do a podcast at the start. Like, I know he was happy for us to share all of these voice recordings and stuff on the page, but like it's a different thing when you're putting it on YouTube. So like I just felt like there was still raw emotions from like a hurt party. And so that's why I have waited until now. And I also wanted to see how it was going to pan out. I mean, we were all right with how it was going to pan out because shit hit the fan. But, like, you can see how much she's just using him. Like, she has just come up. I would say you cannot tell me that she has not been talking to Brendan in messages or something before then. Like, do you really just, like, move back home and then your ex comes to visit you and boom, like, you're in love with them again, like sparks fly? Fuck no. I just can't see it happening like that. I feel like she's been messaging him for a while and she didn't want to be like, hey, like, I'm leaving you, and Brian be like, I'm not going to fucking help you leave me for the guy that abused you. You know what I mean? Because you would not. Like, if your partner told you today, oh, well, I'm sorry, like, I'm actually in love with my ex, I'm leaving, like, will you help me get an apartment and move all my stuff? They'd be like, get fucked. Well, I would anyway. Like, I don't know. So she's, like, made up this whole story to sort of, like, get him on board, to move her and the kids back down there so she can walk back into this shitty situation. Like, oh my God, what a bitch. Anyway, I'm glad it happened because now he's with someone like a million times better, so it doesn't really matter. Everything happens for a reason. So, and then look at her, like, karma came and bit her on the ass.
Going on that they have been talking about this, her and Brendan, and plotting this. What I think happened was that she told him that, you know, her and the kids were moving back and they could start co-parenting. And I think he started to get into her ear.
Look, I think it's really sweet that he thinks that she decided to move down there and then he started getting into her ear. But I don't really think that's how it played out. Like, I honestly believe that her and Brendan had this whole thing planned out way before she decided to move down there. Like, I think the reason she moved down there was to be with Brandon, and it was easier for her to play it out this way so that she would get help to move down there.
About it and feeding her really manipulative con artist bullshit, which is exactly what he does. And he got into her ear. He also got into her best friend Ryan's ear.
Now, again, how can your best friend be this stupid to not be like, nope. Especially, like, if you've got 3 kids and it's been through this up and down relationship for that long and you're out for 2 years, surely hindsight is, like, a beautiful thing, but not with Katherine.
And then, I mean, it got to a point where we had literally, you know, we've been standing in her mom's kitchen 6 days ago, still ensuring her mom that, yes, we're staying together, everything's good, you know, we're staying together, it's all good. We're just going to do long distance. She dropped me off on the airport at the airport on Wednesday, and that day something changed. She got quiet. I stopped hearing from her, and what we found out was that night she dropped me off at the airport. That fucking night, he came over to her new apartment and helped her set some things up and stayed the night there.
Wow, what a shit bitch. That's just gross to me. But I'm just going to find these other screenshots because she actually had all of these posts that were on here as well, that were on her Facebook, and someone else had, like, responded to them because I'm pretty sure she was talking about, Brian. Where is it? Sorry. Oh, it's here somewhere. Here we go. So this random account has written on there. So she wrote this thing. She put up a post, and I think it was about her and Brian. And then someone else was like, you know, I escaped, got my head up back after the abuse and blah, blah, blah. This person's, like, sharing their deep and meaningfuls with Katherine because she's, like, left her partner and she's with this new great guy. And Katherine replies with, "Thank you so much. This is why I share my story to social media. For people exactly like you, there is a beautiful life outside toxic relationships. And I'm so glad you're experiencing that. I'm happy for you." So, you know, this is often an original post where she's talking about how happy she's with Brian. And then this person, and no one knows who it is, but I feel like it's someone close to the family. And it's Shania Twain Fan Club, 1995. And it says, "So, fun story, this chick actually cheated on the guy who she says saved her, then went back to the one who beat her up. Told everyone he had changed, but guess what? He didn't change. This girl is so fake. Do not look up to her. Don't do what she did. Don't ruin your chance at being happy and cared for." And then there was another one that says, where's it at? So Katherine writes, "And just like that, my life turned into a dream and I never thought I'd get to live." Fucking fake. And then the Shania Twain accounts, like, and then you went back to the nightmare, lied to everyone, and are back on searching for the nearest person to take your sorry ass in. Good job. So this must have been, like, after her and the new boyfriend, the first boyfriend broke up, her and Brendan. So then she, like, decides that she's going to have an OnlyFans account. So she's like, I'm going to do OnlyFans, and she reckons that Brendan is the one that actually talked her into doing it. And she posts this fucking picture, and she's, like, laying, like, face down on the couch, and this is how everyone knew she'd left her apartment. And she's like, when he lets you start an OnlyFans to make some cash off your freaky side, but you live with his parents, so shooting content is always a little tricky. Okay, so she's moved in with his parents. Had an apartment, moved in with his parents. What a fucking dumbass. I'm sorry, but like what? This was like only a couple of weeks worth as well, so it's just stupid. And what is even funnier is she has all these TikToks up, and she's like, oh, you know, reminiscing, and it's like her and Brendan and like all these new pictures of them together. And on the same fucking TikTok, she has like all of these rants about like domestic abuse and, you know, how she escaped and how he held a gun to her head, and she hasn't even deleted them. If you're gonna play this game, at least fucking delete the old ones. You look like a total twat, all right? So then, this is what happens. They end up breaking up. Okay, so wrong screenshot. She starts posting these on her, and I can guarantee you she was trying to get back with Brian. I have heard that she was asking if she could move back there after she broke up with Brendan. And, you know, I can guarantee you, like, right now, she's like, fuck. Like, she's alone now. She's alone again. You know, this whole time she was with someone that, like, really cared about her. And now she wants to, like, come back. And she's hoping that she can be like, you know, he's going to rescue her again. She can go in there and be like, oh, you know, thanks for having me. And then they can, like, rekindle this relationship. And it's not going to happen because he is now with an awesome chick. And unlucky, Katherine. Sorry. But anyway, this is what she posted when we all found out that her and Brendan broke up again. So she writes, obviously, I've been back with my ex for the last 4 months. I knew what our past looked like, but I was hopeful this time around. I truly thought after 3 years, we'd make something great out of ourselves together. So were they broken up 3 years? I thought it was 2. Fuck me. Idiot. And then she's got, well, long story short, shit hit the fan. Now, what I've heard about the situation is her and Brendan were having a fight, and she called in Brendan's parents to, like, resolve the fight. I don't know why, because she's a grown-ass woman. But then him and his dad got in a fight and he punched his dad in the face. And then they kicked out Katherine, obviously, because she starts trouble and drama, and she's come back, and now they're, you know, they're not going to kick their son out. Obviously, they're going to kick her out. So then she's in a motel now. And and that last resort, now she wants to have Brian rescue her again. And I'm glad, I really hope that he sticks to his guns. He's like, no. That's her problem now. She says, my point in making these posts is to share my story. We've heard your story before, remember? Your story is stupid because you went back. But to also ask for support, prayers, thoughts, good vibes, etc. I get that not all of you understand what I'm going through, but I do know some of you do. If you think it's easy to just leave, you're wrong. Now, this is the stupidest shit ever because I understand, like, I've been in a DV relationship before, and I know it takes, like, what is it, the average of 7 times for someone to leave, apparently? I don't know. That's just what Julia said in a live. She probably didn't even fact check that, but I think it's off that Maid movie that people are talking about. And, you know, I understand. I think it was, like, maybe 5 times before I, like, totally left. And even, like, after you leave, you still have those feelings of, like, guilt, or, like, maybe it was my fault too. You know, I understand that. But not, like, I can never imagine going back to my ex after 2 or 3 years, you know, and saying, no, it's not easy to leave. If you're gone for 3 years and then you come back, ooh, no. And then she says, this is the most terrifying situation I've had myself in thus far, and believe me, I wish I hadn't gone back. She's kind of making it look like he hit her, but she's not saying that. So I feel like she's, like, stretching this. Like, no, it's not okay to hit your dad. But I don't understand why the situation's so terrifying for her. Like, if this is the most terrifying situation you've been in because he punched his dad, Why weren't you this terrified when he held a gun to your head or threw a printer at you or, said all that nasty stuff or, whatever, I don't know. But I just feel like this is, a bit of a setup because we know she's going to ask people for money afterwards because that's what they do. And then she wrote, and until we find a place to call home, this is it. If you want to help me, message me privately. So she's got a picture of her child asleep on like a hotel bed and there's like a couch in the background. But yeah, if you want to help me, please message me privately. So obviously she's asking people for money. And then she wrote, I'm currently waiting for the offer letter from my employer I was hired by. So until I have that, I have nothing to show for income at a rental. We'll be staying at this hotel until we get into a new home. If you'd like to help us pay for this place so that I can save a little bit, I can save the little bit I have for a deposit, message me. How do you afford a motel, but you can't afford a deposit? Like if you're paying, she's obviously got money saved, she's paying for a motel. Like who's paying for the motel? I don't know. But then here's the messages from Brandon. And she's posted this. So I feel like this is so rude to like post messages between you and your ex. Like it's no one else's business. It doesn't make you look any better if you post messages, no matter how bad they are. It just makes me think of like Crystal and, she's always trying to show her side of the story. There is no reason to share that with social media because it's not going to make, like, yeah, people are going to look at it and go, well, he's a prick or whatever. But, like, it's not going to make them choose you over him. You know what I mean? It's just going to make you look petty. But she wrote, whatever you do, do not believe anything they say. Abusers will say or do anything to get back, to get you to come back. And she's, like, cut out a heap of his messages and pasted them in there. And, like, one's like, I was talking out of my ass. I didn't mean any of it. I was really upset and being stupid. And then he writes, Katherine, can we just take some time? Let me try and get myself fixed, please. I know I hurt you and I messed up and I'm so sorry. Everything I said was out of anger and nonsense. I didn't mean any of it. I'll go to that place. I'll check myself in somewhere. I'll do anything. Just please don't do this, please. Another one says, please don't leave me. I'll do anything. I messed up and I know it. And the last one says, I know you don't, but will you please let me and don't leave me? Where would you like me to go? What would you like me to do? I will do anything to fix this baby, please. So, I feel like they're going to get back together. I feel like she realizes, like, he's a dick or whatever he said to her. Like, obviously he said some nasty shit during this fight before he punched his dad or whatever. But I feel like she's going to get back with him because now she can't get back with Brian. Like, she's asked to go back to Brian's. Brian has said no. So she's got nowhere else to go but this motel. And I feel like Katherine can't be alone because she's, like, left Brandon, went straight, like, jumped into a relationship with Brian and then, like, immediately back into this other relationship. I just feel like she can't be alone. And I feel like she is one of those people that she always has to have attention. Like, she has to have attention. Like, you know how people, like, you get in a relationship and, it's that honeymoon stage and they're, like, buying you everything you want and, like, telling you everything you need and you just get all this affection. You just get bombarded with love and affection. It happens in every relationship because it's that excitement at the start. And then that dies off. And I feel like Katherine's one of those people that's just like, oh, my God, like, she needs that all the time to feel cared for. So, and if not, she just jumps to the next person. So I think she was like, fuck, like, I really fucked up with Brian. But now Brian's, like, smitten with someone else. And there's, like, no chance that she can go back to him. And I think she realizes that. So she's going to give in eventually and go back to Brendan. I don't know. I just feel like that's what's going to happen. Because if she can go 3 years and not go back to him and then she just broke up with him again, I just feel like that's what's going to happen. But anyway, I didn't want to, like, share these earlier, obviously. There was a couple more voicemails, but they were so raw, I just couldn't possibly share them. I feel like they're just really private. And the person that sent them to me was like, don't post these. And I understand why. But anyway, I do wonder what's going to happen with Katherine. I know I really, like, I don't think Brian's ever going to take it back. Like I said, like, the new chick he's with is fucking awesome. They seem to be, like, they just have the best relationship. And this girl's been from, like, a similar situation to what Katherine was in. And so she's just like, what the fuck? Why would you go back? You know what I mean? And I just, she really appreciates Brian and, like, all the things that like all the characteristics of him, that just that caring nature and stuff. And I really feel like, you know, because Katherine was like, she comes across as so bratty and like needy, whereas this girl is like super chill. So I'm really excited to see their relationship like keep blossoming and stuff. But I am interested to know, like, who of yous thinks that she's going to get back with Brandon? Like, I feel like she just can't be single for very long. I don't know. But I'm really happy for Brian and his new woman. And I'm excited. I'm hoping like one of them moves and they end up together. I was kind of like, I felt like it was going to happen. Like, I just felt like it was going to happen because they just had this connection. And I was hoping it was going to happen, and it happened. So I'm really happy. Anyways, that's all I have for today's podcast. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more things come out over the coming weeks or months about this, whether or not they get back together, who knows. Hopefully she just learns from her mistakes and just moves on, concentrates on her kids, her work, you know, and maybe the right guy will come along again. But I feel like Brian was like a once in a lifetime chance, so she must be really kicking herself right now. But anyway, that's all I have. Make sure you leave a comment below. Just, you know, let us know what you think about it. Like, do you think that she should have left Brian and went back to him? Do you think 3 years is like way too long to go back to this situation? Let me know. Anyway, I'll see you on the page at TWT 3.0.